there, yarn lovers, it's Gary and I'm coming to you from my happy place, the Yarn Corner here on the west coast of Canada. So welcome, welcome, welcome. It is a cold Saturday here, June 29th, 2024. How are you all doing? I hope you're well and staying safe. On this long weekend up here in Canada, we're celebrating, for those of you who celebrate Canada Day, it's happening on July 1st in 2 days' time, and I'm gearing up to go ahead and meet up with family and have a nice meal together. So I'm really looking forward to that. If you're happening across this channel for the very first time, hi, welcome. I've set this channel up to talk about all of my yarny adventures in knitting, crochet. I talk about my acquisitions, where I purchase my yarn and tools of my craft from. So if that is of interest, please stick around. And for those who are coming back, I want to say welcome back and thank you so much for all the suggestions, the comments, the viewing time. I really greatly appreciate it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. In the last couple of videos, I got some great suggestions on what to make with mandala cakes. Now, mandala cakes are from Lion Brand and they're self-striping yarn. I unboxed a couple of videos of new colors in their range that they came out with in 2024, and then some original colors as well. I'll link those two videos down in the description box. And I was kind of perplexed on what I could do with all these self-striping yarns. So I decided to ask all of you what patterns you've done in the past, and I got a great response. I found a lot of them on Ravelry, which I collected in a bundle, and I will be adding that down in the description box as well. So if you have Ravelry, you can go in and take a look to get inspiration. There were a few commenters there who were suggesting they would love something like that too, because they're stuck with ideas on what to use their self-striping yarn in. So yeah, I wanted to flag that. And also I have one creator who has shared with me her makes, and I'll be showcasing a few of them as well. So I'm really excited about that. Yay! And also in a previous update video that I did maybe 2 weeks ago, I was talking to you about crocheting a kitty for my Pride Month, which is June, and we're almost at the end of June. So I want to show that as well. And I asked for naming suggestions, and I came up with a name. Well, I didn't come up with it. It was actually suggested, and I've picked it. So yeah, we'll talk about that as well. So lots of things to talk about. Update, FOs, some whips, a new whip actually, and some updates on ones that you've seen before. So let's get cracking. I always talk about what Hank, my man form, is wearing, and he is wearing a crochet shawl that I completed, I'm going to say almost a year ago now. This is the second time that I've done this wonderful pattern, and it's by a designer called Claudia Ramprecht. The pattern is a paid for pattern. Sorry, it's in black and white, but you can see it here in color. And the pattern name is called Triangular Scarf Leukone. Now, I added a few extra repeats into the pattern because I had a lot of yarn left over and I didn't want to waste it. So it was a Stenli cake, and I believe there were close to, I'm going to say 1,200 yards at a guess. So I pretty much had completed the pattern up to here, and then I did another repeat. So it's an alteration that I did because I wanted to use up the yarn. And in the closing of it, in the border, I needed to do a few extra rounds of the border so that it could balance up with this extra large size that I had. It's not really a scarf, triangular scarf. It's more like a wrap or a shawl, if you want to call it that. So yeah, I changed up a few things on the border to balance up the sizing of the shape of what I ended up with. So yeah, great pattern. It's a paid for pattern. I'll leave it down in the description box below, along with any other YouTubers that I mention, or patterns, tutorials. They'll be there as well. So please do go down and check there if you are interested in finding out more information. Okay, so I've got a few things to check off of my list, so I'm going to get cracking. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is the check-in on the Mood Board Mal Summer 24 edition, and it's the Architect to Emotion. And if you're hearing about it for the very first time, I'm super excited to present it to you because it did start 2 weeks ago, and it will be going until August the 15th, 2024. And that's when you'll need to get your submissions into me. it's not too late to jump in if you're hearing about it for the first time. And obviously you'll need to know what it's all about. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you my mood board and a check-in with my make that I've chosen for that mood board, and the pattern, the yarn, all that sort of wonderful stuff, to give you some sort of idea of what it is. But if you're looking for more of the rules and maybe some guidelines and suggestions, if you can't create your own mood board and you need some help, I've got 4 mood boards that I've already previously showcased in the introduction of the MAL, or the make along. And I'll include that down in the description box below. So if you want to go across for that inspiration, or understand a little bit more about the rules, then that's where you'll go to get all the information. So okay, so I'm going to get Editing Gary up here to maybe put the digital version of my mood board that I put together for my make. Now, this is the tiles that I love so much, seeing on the ground, on the walls. They're mosaics in different architectural buildings. Now, these I'm choosing some of the colors of, not all of them, but it does give me that stimulation, the excitement. It does give me adventure in the chaos and order of all these little shards and all these little shrapnels of color. So hopefully that mood board's gone now. If you are inclined to choose the same mood board as what I've just shown you, then please do go ahead. There are other ones as well if you're stuck on getting your own ideas in the intro video, as I mentioned. So here's the pattern that I chose to resemble those exciting mosaics. It is called the Night Shift by Christopher Salas. It's a paid for pattern, and it uses 2 colors. So I did limit my color choice to just the 2, and I have started it. So let's take a look, shall we? Okay, I'll get my yarn first. And I'm housing this project currently until it gets too big, and then I've got to move it in my Jezebel Bee. I call it a saddle bag. It's a project bag, but I call it my saddle bag. And you can walk around if you're knitting and leave your balls of yarn in there and just sort of like on the go. So it's a really nice stand-up project bag, and I like that. It's because we sit a lot when we're crafting, that sometimes we forget to move around, and this promotes kind of like being mobile but still crafting. Love that. The yarn that I chose for the 2 colors are these 2 here. So an icy blue and sort of a teal, peacocky teal. And so what we have is the icy blue one here is from Murray & Co. Wool Goods. It is a classic sock, which is a 25 superwash merino, 75 superwash merino, 25 nylon, and fingering weight or sock weight. So the color is called Not Now Arctic Puffin. I actually made a mistake in the last video when I described this. I thought it said Arctic Penguin, but it's Arctic Puffin. So Not Now Arctic Puffin. There's the deets if you need it. It's a lightly speckled yarn, and it works up wonderfully. You'll see that in a moment. And the second color, the tealy peacock, it's actually called Aquarius, and it's from Mrs. Babs, or Miss Babs, I should say, in the Carolyn colorway set. They did come with other colors in there, but I just wanted to use the Aquarius for this make. And it came to me via a generous gift by my friend from the channel, Reese. So thank you, Reese. I'm loving how it's feeling. It's working up lovely. And this is a 70% superwash merino wool and 20% cashmere, 10% nylon. So it's really, really soft. And it does play on the light a little bit too. So it has a bit of a shimmer to it. Love that effect. So I'll put those back in. Let's take a look at the Night Shift that I started. Here it is here. Ba-ba-da-bum. Absolutely love this make. The construction is from another commenter taught me what the name of the shape that I'm making is. It's called a kite shape. So it starts off here in the make and the point, increases each side, and then middle decrease, so it gets a nice ridge. And I love the color work. So I'm at a point now where my dark and lights are switching, and now I'll get light frames around a dark background, whereas here it's a dark frame around a light background, so I'm switching it up. So I'm not sure how much more of the pattern I have, but I'm going to say a third of it's been done. And what do you think? I think it's going to be great representation of that exciting mosaic, giving that stimulation of like chaos and order with these bubbles and frames with larger and thicker borders. Really love that architectural feel to it. So I will check in with you again when maybe in another 2 weeks time with that piece. I'm not promising that it'll be finished, but let's cross fingers, because I do have another one that I want to do in the time frame between now and August the 15th. And just a reminder as well to get those entries in: a photograph of your mood board and a photograph of your make, and email them to me at urbanyarn101@gmail.com before August the 15th, 2024. And I'll create a slideshow shortly thereafter. I am going away in the middle of August, so when this concludes, I will be actually away, but I will jump back straight into it, maybe on the 18th, and collect all of those wonderful entries and do a slideshow. So really super excited about seeing what everyone does. Now, because I'm on makes and whips, let's talk about some of the other whips that are on my plate. This is a long-standing whip that I started mid last year, and I am doing the Crocheted Nature's Walk by Sandra Paul. Now, the first 6 motifs in this pattern are free, and I'll link them down below in the description box. And then there's an additional bonus pack of 6 more motifs that you can purchase. And the pattern's great because it does offer it up in English terminology, that's the UK terminology, and then US terminology. So I purchased, I think by mistake, I might have purchased the English one, UK version, and but I kind of know what they are talking about when they're mentioning double and triple crochets. So yeah, and I'm touching base on the last update that I did. I was working through the Willow Rise using the motif called the Gate. Now, the Gate is a motif from that pattern blanket, and I was using this yarn here. This is a second ball of it, but I completed that ball and I got myself 14 gates. So they're all done. There's the 14. And because that's what the gate looks like, really nicely spread out fillet holes or windows and a nice structure. So I really like this one. It's going to give a nice texture to the blanket. And because I needed to get 16 of them, I had to crack into the second ball, and I did myself another 2 from this ball here. So now I've got my 16 that I need for the blanket. I'm hoping, cross fingers, that I'll get 160 of the different styles of the squares and do a huge queen size quilt or cover. And yeah, so I'll use this for another motif, so nothing will go to waste. The next one that I picked up, now that I started the next one, this is what the chart looks like from the pattern. This is one of the free patterns from the pack, and it's called the North Star chart. Nice thing about the pattern, when you get it, it does offer up a written instruction, so you can choose to read through like a written paragraph or row after row, or you can look and verify on a chart if you prefer the charts. I use the charts because I've read the pattern a number of times with the writing. I'm confident now what follows what with the chart reading, and I just need the chart as a reminder. So I'm starting that and using for the North Star this purple color. It's called Orchid, and it's by Premier DK Basic DK. It's a lightweight 3. All of these are lightweight 3s from different collections, and this one is called Orchid, as I mentioned. It's really, really nice and soft. This yarn's great, and it has a bit of a sheen to it. Now, I've noticed, because I purchased a number of these solid colors from the Premier Basic DK range, and they're not all the same in nature. So some of them are more coarse, some of them are softer, some of them have sheen, some of them are dull and a bit more fuzzy. So depending on, I guess, where they're made or what the dye does to the actual acrylic, there is different results that I'm finding. So not a cohesive collection for sure, but I do like some of the colors, and this one being one of them, made it into the blanket. And I started, and I've got myself 2 of the North Star squares. Yeah, that's it, what it looks like there. I find that this one is probably one of the most fiddliest of the squares that I am working with, because the start's slightly different, and I'm not getting into the rhythm right yet. I think I might have made a mistake. Yeah, right here, I made a mistake on reading the pattern incorrectly. So I thought I was done on row 7, but there's actually 8 rows in each of these patterns, or rounds, I should say, 8 rounds. And so I had to clip on a little extra yarn to finish it off and pull back and finish it off, because I was what is it called? Prematurely finishing. So yeah. Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to chat to you about is another blanket that I'm working on, and this one is called, the motif is called Windflower Hexagon. So it's a free pattern, and it's by Johanna Lindahl. So I really like it. I'm not using the same yarn that she's used in her suggestion here. I'm using a thicker 4-weight, and I believe her one that she's using is either a sport weight or a DK weight in the sample. But the pattern is really helpful. It's got little pictures that show you how to get through each of the rows, and I thought it was quite a well planned out pattern. Never lets you guess, and it has a great way of indicating what to do next. There's not a chart with this, so it's just written and photographs. And I have gone crazy with doing these motifs. So I'll show you the box that I'm keeping just for the motifs for the Windflower. And here they are here. I counted them all up that are completed, and those completed ones are 39, but I have a whole series of the flower bit of the motif yet to border, and probably have done, I've got a few more in another bag, but there's probably another 10 to 15 that yet to do. So the interesting part about this project that I found was on Ravelry. Yet again, I'm mentioning Ravelry, I know, but I go to Ravelry to get my ideas, inspirations with this particular pattern. There's a number of people who have done this project, and getting to look at all the different styles of joining has been amazing. So I was going to do a single crochet ridge border to join them all together, but I've since decided against it, and I'm going to be doing a double crochet continuous. So I'll lay them all down the way that I want in the end, and I will start and do a kind of a row by row, going through each of the sections with one double crochet. And as I come back towards joining with the second double crochet, I will then link those 2 double crochets together. That way the blanket will be bigger than expected, because they won't be butting up directly together. It'll have these additional borders around it. I'm thinking of doing it in a light gray color. That way all these different colors will sing, and they won't be, they have some room to breathe in. So I like that, and I'll be bordering it as well. The other thing that I decided to do was another maker who was building a blanket using this motif. I'll link her Ravelry link down below, because there was a suggestion on how to make a half hexie, and that would make the edges nice and flush. Now on the longer sides, I'm thinking of doing my half hexie, sorry, and then on the bottom and top, I'm going to leave that jagged, because I do like that it does have like a fun kind of playful, it's almost like a chevron shape, that when you're doing a chevron, it gives you the points and valleys. So I'm going to leave the top and bottom like that, but keep my sides flush. So I will link the recipe to this person who was so generous to offer up the recipe to do the half hexie. I'll put that down in the description box as well. So to show you some of the half hexies that I've done, again, I'm doing them in two steps. So the first step is doing a half hexie flower part. So these are my half hexies. I've done a number of them. Here we go. And so like if I do the other side, it'll just flip around like that. Half hexie. And then I do the half border around that hexie. So that's what it looks like there. This is my bag of the half hexies. And there's actually one full one in there as well. Yeah. So yeah, you don't need too many of them. I'm thinking of doing maybe, I'm guessing maybe 12 rows down, maybe 7 or 8 across. And with that extra border that I was talking to you about, the continuous double crochet border, I'm going to probably even expand it further than what these hexies are measuring and get a huge blanket. And I will probably then go around and do some edging of some nature. Yeah, so the hook size that I'm using for this is a 4mm. Although most of these yarns that I'm using in 4-weight are suggesting for me to use a 5mm or a 4.5 or 5mm crochet hook, I've gone down a size because I'm actually a very loose crocheter, but I'm finding that these flowers stand up better when they're a little more sturdy than if they were loose. So I'm really liking the stiffness, I guess, the rigidity of this fabric that it's making with a 4mm. And when I wash it and it starts to relax, acrylic does stretch. So I think I'm ahead of the game in keeping it sort of nice and sturdy as a blanket. Yeah, really pretty too. Okay, the yarn. So I've got the bulk of the yarn here. I'm gonna in a second box. So this is it here. I'm going with my palette's sort of a little bit all over the place. This evergreen here, which is probably the only green that I'm using that's sort of a bit more striking and creates a bit of contrast. Then I'm using a bit of pink. I've used purple. The Red Heart Ombre in the violet color range gave me a whole bunch of different graduating purple color motifs, and I love that about the ombre, or a multi-style long color changes. And this one is another one here, which is, I believe, yeah, that might be are you another Red Heart? No, you're a Karen Jumbo ombre. So I'm also getting multiple colors within this one color ball, and I think there's probably around 4 of them. So I'm going from more like this, the sandy tans and purples. So I'm getting a whole bunch of different ones, maybe 4 of them in also different tones. I love that. The other ones that I've got here are, I haven't used this one yet, but I'm thinking about it, is the Craft Smart. No longer available, I guess, because they changed the label to Loops and Threads in Michael's. But I like this color here. It's called Clay. So a reddish brown. I'm using this one. I probably almost finished one of those entirely. And this is from, I love this yarn. The colorway is called Walnut, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I always find the colors hard to find. Yeah, Walnut. So this is the walnut that I have. Almost finished. Here's another color that has lost its ball band, but I do like this one, and I love this yarn again. It's called Tweed. The collection's called Tweed, and the color is Gray Confetti. That's a really nice one. What else have I got here? Oh, I got some here. I love this yarn. Again, in a solid color. It's called Amethyst. Now, this one came to me via another friend from the channel. I want to say thank you. I think you know who you are. I don't know whether I can mention her name, but yeah, she used to have a channel here. I haven't seen her put any videos out for a while. I've also used a bit of this one here, which is I love this yarn, and it's in the prints, and that one is called, I think it's called Sand Dunes. Yep, Sand Dunes. That's a really nice one too. This pink here, it's, I haven't used, I used one actually from this, but I'm going to add more in, just sprinkle a bit of pink in. And it's from Bernay Premium, and that's a value yarn that you can get at Walmart, and the colorway is called Candy Pink. Love that. This is my bordering color that I'm choosing to do the double crochet continuous join, and it's from Big Twist. These are all 4-weight yarns. This one is called, what are you called? Soft Grey. So they had a sale on, and I purchased a bag of 3 of these, and I'm hoping it's going to be enough. Otherwise, I can always go back and maybe on my next visit to the United States, I can purchase a bit more of that. And I told you about this one, the Karen Jumbo Ombre in the colorway called Seashell, offering up all those wonderful colors. And the last one I have is this one here. It's called, it's I Love This Yarn print. There's the colorway if you're looking for the swatch. It's called Brushstroke Breeze. What was the green one called? Because I love this green. This green one here is the Bernay again, and the color is called Teal Heather. It's actually a little darker than what you're seeing, but it does have a nice strand of another color running through it. It's beautiful. I like that green. And then some duplicates in here as well. And that's the whole ball of the the Red Heart Super Saver Ombre that I use from the Violet colorway. So yeah, those are the colors that I'm putting in. I'm enjoying it. It's very addictive. And as I mentioned in some comments before in other videos when I showed the start of this blanket, that I love modular because I can take a ball of yarn, you know, my hook that I'm using, and then be mobile with it, like at work, sitting at my desk. Maybe there's a meeting and I can just sort of fidget with my hands and create these small motifs. So as part of my life and my working life and where I need to be in a day, I love these modular type projects. So that is my Windflower Hexi blanket that I'm working on using the free pattern from Johanna Lindahl. I'll just put all this away and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, everything's cleaned away, and I've got my next item that I'm going to be chatting to you about, and these are my finished items. Yes, I have 3 of them to show you, and I absolutely love this first one. The first one was inspired by another YouTuber that I watched who created this, and that's Lindahl over at Nina's Knots Crochet. Hi, Lindahl. And so I went and I bought the pattern. It's a paid for pattern. It's amigurumi. Now, I've only done amigurumi like this round circle thing, or, you know, an ornament for the Christmas tree. I haven't done like one with sew-ons and well, maybe some sew-on nozzles, like muzzles, but not with limbs and eyes and all that sort of thing. So yes, the pattern that I am talking about is this one here called Albert. Now, this is my Pride Month make, and I'm happy to say Albert is done, except I'm not calling my one Albert because that's Albert there. He's got a photograph. That's Albert. It's from a designer called Her Woolly. I don't know whether you pronounce the E on the end. Woolly or wool without the E. So this is a paid for pattern. I can show you the front only because it just gives you the ingredients and what you need. And it can be done in any size weight. I have chosen to do mine in sport weight, and I'm using a 3mm crochet hook. And here is the finished item. So this is my Pride Month cat. Now, he doesn't have, I know he looks like a bear, right? But if you stretch your imagination a bit, he does look like a cat as well. And so yeah, he's missing a few colors of the rainbow, but because I'm kind of ran out of the, like, I guess I wanted to have bigger bands of color, that I ran out, and I was only using the colors that I had in my pack from Hobby, and I'll show them in a moment. But isn't he cute? There's his little legs, and this is the back of him. So you can see where the joining of the next round went. Now, I was curious because in the pattern, it doesn't tell you how each of the rounds are done or completed. It tells you the numbers on when you are decreasing, increasing, but I found that my my legs, when I started, I was doing a slip stitch into the first chain, and then chaining up one to begin the next round. But then I discovered that it's more of a spiral kind of counting. So as you're crocheting, your beginning row starts to sort of slant towards one direction. So you're seeing it happening here. I did a mistake at first because I was doing the chain up, so I wanted to get the seam to go straight, but I then found out halfway through that my numbers were a little off, and my decreases and increases, I had to fudge to get them to be on the right part of the fabric that I was making in the round. So just be wary that their style of their crochet and their numbering counts are in a spiral rather than slip stitching and then chaining up to begin the next round. Yep. So I liked doing the little arms. They were kind of like in line with the striping, so there was a bit of color controlling. And my nose and eyes are the safety versions of, you know, I bought a kit, and I'll show you that as well. So yeah, really cute, isn't he? So I've named him because some suggestions came through in the video where I showed his legs. I was up to his legs because it works bottom up. And his name is Roy. Roy, short for Roy G. Biv. So, and because he does have red, orange, and yellow, that's the Roy of his make. So yeah, this is Roy. I want to say a special thank you to the person who did give me the name suggestion, and I've written it down here. It's Jill P. Thank you so much for that suggestion. I love him so much. So yeah, let's finish object number 1. Finish object number 2 in the order that I finished was this one here. I did another one. Yeah, I couldn't stop making them. So this is the second one that I made. And this one has different colors. and the same eye settings, like the round shape of the eyes and the nose, same nose. Actually, this one has a different nose. This one doesn't have the imprint of the nostrils. It's just a nice flat one. And number 2, and I did it again for number 3. I absolutely love them. So obviously I needed to do one with lots of green in it. So I've got 3 greens and 1 blue in here. Some people might say that this is a blue too. I guess it is. It's a powder blue. So 2 blues and 3 greens. And yeah, these 2 little buddies, they're going to be going into a thank you pack for some of the people that watch the channel. So yeah, I'm going to be putting these 2 in as a thank you gift, and they can be named by their new, I guess, homes that they go to. So yeah, I filled my cats with all trimmings that I had left over for a year and a half. I was collecting all of my tail ends, all of the clippings, and I had a friend who is a weaver who also gave me her trimmings as well. So there's no polyfill in there. It's all clippings, all these different odds and ends. So now that I'm out of that, but I want to keep going on making these kitties, I will probably have to go to Michael's and get some polyfill because I don't have anything more to stuff these little critters with. So I'm going to keep Roy. He's staying with me because he's my pride kitty. And yeah, I absolutely love them. I love them so much. And I think that's all that I needed to say. Oh no, I wanted to just talk about the yarn that I used for the kitties. So this yarn came to me in 2 kits. It was a collection of these bobbin style, like mini rolled balls of different cotton colored yarn, and they're from Hobby. I believe in the kits or the packs that I got, there were 10 colors in each, so I had 20 colors to play with, and they're all different styles that you can buy them in kits at Hobby, which is a Denmark online shopping place that you can purchase yarn from. And I got the ones that were bright colors that had Roy G. Biv kind of like color range in them. And these are the things that I have left because I have used it for a scarf in the past. I got them about a year ago and they were complimentary sent to me by Hobby. And I will link a few affiliate links down below if you're interested in going across at no extra charge to you. Those links can be clicked. And it supports the channel. I get some commission come back to me if you make a purchase at Hobby. So yeah, so those were the main bulk colors. These are a sport weight yarn and they come in many different packs that you can get: neutrals, brights, neons, earthy tones. And for the eyebrows, I should say, the eyebrows, I used this and also the little lips on the nose. And this is from Lamia and it's their Angora. I purchased this a few years back now from Hobium, and that's a turkey based yarn that you can purchase online as well. Yeah, I was thinking I got some adventurous yarns in there that I want to try out. This one here, which is a short spurt color change multi-variegated yarn. I'd like to try that. That's sort of in a sport weight yarn as well. And yeah, so yeah, I've got the bag number here that I purchased, bag 9 for one of them. Yeah. Okay, the other thing that I was talking about was using those safety eyes, and I don't recall, sorry about the crinkle, where I purchased them from. I think it might have been, I got them from, did I get them from Amazon? I think I might have got these ones from Amazon. I thought it was Temu, but I must have gotten these from Amazon. But they're a kit of all different shapes, sizes of and colors of eyes, noses, Some have pupils in them. Some are just solid black or brown. Yeah, and they come with all of the caps that you secure the eyes and noses into the fabric so that they don't pop out. So yeah, that's the kit that I'm using. Okay, almost wrapping up, but I did promise that I would mention some ideas and inspiration from the mandala stripes that Lion Brand has put out. So this is a mandala here in the new colorway called Mantis. So getting some ideas on what to use this wonderful yarn in. And a viewer of the channel has sent in some wonderful makes that they have created. And this has come from Linda. So thank you, Linda, for sending these in and agreeing for me to post some of them. There are so many wonderful makes that she sent. I'll show you a few of them and talk about the pattern, maybe link it down below in the description box. I don't know whether Linda has used mandala in this specific set of samples that she's displayed here of her brilliant talent, but there's definitely a suggestion here that these mandalas could be used in this similar style. So here we go. I'm going to show you the first one, and this is from a pattern or tutorial, I should say. It's a tutorial from Fiber Spider, and it's called the Nautilus. And I'm just going to check the color, the name of it. It's called Nautilus by Fiber Spider. Now, I'm going to look for this tutorial and I'll add it down below in the description box. It is a knitted tutorial. I have one here from Hooked on Sunshine, and this, I believe, is also a tutorial. This one is crocheted, and the pattern is called Wachamacolit. I don't know what that is, but it sounds super interesting. But check out the texture in this. It's crocheted. Linda, that's a fantastic job. It looks square to me. Looks like it's got a round motif, and there's lots of overlapping textural stitches. I love that. I love that. And I'll show one more here. What about this one? This one looks amazing. Here we go. This one is from Johanna Martinez, and it's called Beautiful Shells. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's that one there. There we go. Another wonderful pattern, Linda. Exquisitely done. So yeah, I will find whether those are tutorials or patterns, and I'll link them down in the description box. So thank you, Linda, again for sending that in. Okay, there was another important tip that I read in the comment on the mandala videos that I am still going through, collecting more and more. So this will be an ever-growing process of inspirational patterns and tips that I'm collating together for everyone to be inspired to use their mandalas. And this one comes from Mary, and she has a YouTube channel called Slow Crochet. Hi, Mary. And her tip was, think about the end product that you're using with these mandalas as well. So these are the original mandalas. They do have a bit of a fuzz on them. And the item that Mary was telling me that she made was needing a lot of washing because it was being highly used, like in a traffic area, and needed to be like cleaned frequently. Now, this is a nice yarn that can machine wash and dry, but because of the frequent need to wash and dry the end product, there was peeling, so noticeable peeling. And I would suggest if you are making something that needs a more heavy durable care instruction like regular washing, that maybe it's hand washable and lay flat to dry to keep that integrity of the yarn, or you choose a different yarn for those high traffic uses, and maybe the mandala could be something that's a little bit less frequently washed if you want to throw it into the machine just to keep the integrity of the yarn. So yeah, I think that's a great tip. Thank you so much, Mary, for mentioning that. The mandala ombre is a little bit different story because it doesn't have, it's more of a kneader yarn. It doesn't have that sort of fluff that build up. So I think this yarn would probably be better for a high traffic use that you might want to wash more frequently. So suggestion there. Great. And yeah, with that, I guess I'm going to now move on to talking about updates that's been happening here in my community. So you're just hanging around for the yarny goodies. I want to thank you so much for joining in and spending some time with me, and I will shift gears now and talk about what's going on here. It's been a busy couple of weeks, and I believe that's because we have longer days, it being summer, and up in these parts we don't get to twilight around 9:30 p.m. at night, which is great. So we get long days, we want to do things, we want to be outside. Not today, because today's kind of a bit rainy and cold, but we did manage to go on a hike, and I want to flag this hike because if anyone is visiting the area and wants to go on a nice nature walk where you can see forests going down all the way to the coastal area and see a wonderful ocean view, this one might be for you. It is an intermediate hike. It takes 3 hours round trip to get back in and out, and it's called the Ripple Rock Trail. Now, I have some footage, and I believe I might have sprinkled some up in the intro of this video, just to give you an indication of the beautiful things that you see out there when you're taking this walk. I would say that the boardwalk isn't a lovely feature in the beginning, so if you want to just do a slow-paced walk and do maybe 20 minutes in, it's quite comfortable. And then I think the next hour or so is like up and downs, more up going in, and then sort of clambering up larger sort of rock faces that are 3 feet. So you have to sort of grab onto roots and trees to get yourself up there. And then on the way down, it's a lot quicker because you are going down mostly. So yeah, I've got some footage of that and I'll add it in here. Pixel was very tired, so I'll be back to tell you a little bit more about what I've been watching. So enjoy the clips. So what did you think of the wonderful vistas and those interesting rock formations that we passed along the way? Now, I know I can't capture the whole beauty of the nature that was there in a small composition frame, but hopefully you can get a gist of what it was that we encountered and enjoyed along our hike. So I'm going to switch gears now and talk about the last thing on my list. I've been meaning to always throw this in over the updates previously, but videos have been going a bit too long. I'm just going to squeeze this one in regardless and talk about some TV viewing that I've been enjoying while I've been stitching away, and maybe these suggestions will be good for you if you're interested in watching while you're crafting. So these are series, they're kind of newish. 2 out of 3 are new anyway. So this one is called Dark Matter and it's on Apple TV. The first season has just concluded. We were late to begin this, so it was pretty much all up online when we started watching. Maybe the last 2 we had caught up and we had to wait. But Dark Matter is a sci-fi based in reality, present tense reality, but then it branches off into different vignettes of other worlds and other time frames. So it is very interesting. It's quite thrilling, and I won't give away the story, but it's the concept is folding over time so that you're meeting duplicates of yourself forks in the road when you make a choice, decision, that there's different branch and different universe that branches off from that point of decision making, and how it all intertwines and intermingles when someone breaks the rule of, I guess, moving out of their own time frame into another time frame. So I think that's all I'm going to say, but it is a nail biter sometimes. There is suspense there, and the first season has left us on a kind of a precipice of possibilities, so I think there will be a second season of it. Now, the next one that I watched is a different style of movie, and it is called Presumed Innocent. It is a crime show where you're kind of like unraveling the mystery of a murder. There are some graphic scenes in this particular series. It's being slowly released week after week. We discovered it when it had 3 seasons, 3 episodes up. So we binge watched those 3, and now we're up to date, and we have to kind of like wait for the next one to be released. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal, and both of these that I've suggested so far are based in Chicago. So I absolutely love Chicago, the city. You might have seen previous videos of my visits to Illinois and the wonderful people that I met in Chicago, Rose being one of them. Hi, Rose. So she is a Chicago person. I think she lives in the outer suburb, but I wanted to shout out Rose. She has a channel here, and it's Rose Likes Crochet. Please do go across and see her. She's a wonderful person, and I know she's almost at a milestone. So let's see if we can get her to that milestone that she's moving towards quite rapidly. She's almost there. So please do go over there and say hi. If you like her, please subscribe and do all those wonderful YouTube things. And the last thing that I want to mention, another series that is back up. I think it's in season 3 now. It's called The Bear, and that one's in Chicago as well. No way. How could that be possible? Are these all 3 from Chicago? Wow. Okay, well, that's another mind blow there. So this one is played on Disney, and it's all about a chef and his building his Michelin restaurant up from the ashes. Like he's come to his brother's establishment where his brother's also a cook and he's a cook. So it's all about cooking in the kitchen. And he's trying to establish some stability in his life, as well as make this a Michelin star extravagant restaurant experience. So there is some heat in the kitchen at times. I must say, some of the episodes are a little bit almost so agitating that I need to walk away for a little while. I would say give it 2 episodes to understand what style of kind of viewing it's going to be. And if you can get through the 2, it then starts to peter out into a more storyline, character building, all that sort of wonderful thing. But just to note that there is a lot of heat in the kitchen. So if you can't handle it, get out of the kitchen and don't watch it. That's what I'm suggesting. Okay, so that's it. I've spoken about everything on my list, and I need to just let you know a little bit more about what's coming up in July so that we can get excited. I'll be doing another few check-ins on my Moodboard Mel Summer Edition. And I've got some yarn here to show you, which is just down here in a box. And I've got some yarn over there to show you, which has arrived as well. So this is a Knit Pick box, and this one is a friend sent me some happy mail. What more can I say? There's going to be a lot of fun yarny content in July. And I will catch you up in the next one. Please stay safe, and happy Canada Day for those who celebrate it. Bye for now.